This is the Free America Radio Network. For more information, go to freeamericaradio.us.
Hey folks, this is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for the 23rd of July 2014. I told you that I would put up some podcasts, and here's one of them. Show note, the views expressed live in the Wayne S. Pierce Show will be off until Monday, August 4th, taking a well-deserved vacation. I know that the minions of the New World Order and those that want to destroy us are not taking a vacation, but I will. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to be doing podcasts. I'm going to do, here's the one here, of course. But what that means is I'm going to concentrate my efforts on doing other things. The shows are off, but I'm not. Okay, the shows are going to be taking a vacation. Not me personally, okay? I'm just saying, I'm going to be working behind the scenes and bring you some stuff on August 4th and let you know what I found out. So, I don't have a guest host, nor do I have a co-host for either one of the shows, so if you would like to be a guest host or co-host on the show, please email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can also go to freeamericaradio.us and email me from there as well. Everything is, let's just say, insanity is the problem in Washington, D.C. Okay? That's my statement to begin this whole podcast. The insanity is the problem with Washington, D.C. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what position you have in Washington, D.C. Sooner or later, it's going to trickle down to the letter carrier that's walking into the building, okay? Because it literally is that bad, okay? I don't think these people in Washington, D.C. know which end is up, let alone how to grab their ass with both hands. But that's my opinion. It's just amazing to me. You know, we have a country that is falling apart around us, and people are sitting there praising the efforts of Congress and of the president for doing so well. Well, you know what side of the aisle those people are on. They're on the aisle of, I'm insane and I don't care, while the other people who are aware and awake of what's going on are sitting here going, you're freaking morons, okay? And just so you know, last year I said that 2014 was going to be different and I wasn't going to be holding anything back, and I'm not going to. I don't apologize for what I say. But to make you all happy, I will apologize for how I say it. Okay? I had somebody tell me, why do you talk down to people? I don't. I talk straight at you, in your eyes. You're right there, and there you go. Okay? But let me refrain from doing all that and give you the news that you can use and get pissed off about. So if you want to go to Free America Radio on Facebook, you can. If you want to go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show Facebook page, you can. That's fine. But I'm going to share with you some articles and stories. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or even if you disagree with me, email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. You can also go to either one of the websites, freeamericaradio.us or thewaynespearceshow.weebly.com. And on that note, folks, please let me hear from you. I want to hear what's going on in your neck of the woods. I shall return after this brief message. The truth is out there. You just have to look for it. It is most often buried beneath what could be considered mainstream news. You're being fooled into thinking they have the answers. They don't. Come listen to The Views Expressed, Free America Radio, broadcasting live on Spreaker.com. Listen to the Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com. Welcome back. This is the podcast for 23rd of July, 2014. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. Yes, I am a reverend. Yes, I use the title. You can go to ulchq.com to email them and ask them any questions you would like. Anyway, the thing today that I want to discuss is very, very simple. It's simple in the sense that there are those out there that would preferably ignore the obvious. Has nothing to do with the fact that they could be unintelligent about what is going on, but it has everything to do with the fact that they don't want to pay attention. But enough about that. Let's get on to some news, shall we? Let's go to Free America Radio on Facebook, check things out. How are you today? Please let me know. You can email me at freeamericaradio@usa.com. That's freeamericaradio@usa.com. BeforeIt'sNews.com. I know a lot of people say, well, I don't believe anything from BeforeIt'sNews.com. They've been known to, no. Here, let me give it to you in layman's terms. BeforeIt'sNews.com is a website where you can put up articles that you write. It has nothing to do with the site at all. Much like Drudge Report has links to other sites, other news sites, they're a news aggregate. BeforeIt'sNews.com is for you, for the alternative, for money, politics, health, global, spiritual, anything that you want to talk about. Okay? So this article is from Guerrilla Media Network, actually from Gorilla Girl Ashley over there at Guerrilla Media Network. It says, according to former Border Patrol security expert Zach Taylor, this current so-called border crisis is a manufactured crisis, I should say, that has been going on since at least the year 1986, when the Reagan administration was in power. And this is what is known as asymmetrical warfare. Here is a clip from Zach Taylor's interview from the upcoming documentary film called Back to the Border. Here's a quote from that. Zach Taylor says, quote, "This gives people that are trying to get their infrastructure, their personnel, their drugs, their dirty bombs, their biological weapons, their chemical weapons into the United States without being noticed," unquote, the opportunity to do so, quote, "because this part of the border is open. It is now being controlled," unquote. A 26-year Border Patrol veteran outlines in the extensive interview, quote, If asymmetrical warfare is going to be successful, the first thing that has to be done is to compromise America's defenses against invasion, unquote, Taylor says. Quote, because they have to have their personnel inside the United States to affect the infrastructure. They have to affect the degeneration from inside the United States, unquote. He also wrote in this June, in a June 22nd, 2014 press release by the National Association of Former Border Patrol Officers, our retired Border Patrol officers, this invitation to invade America by illegal aliens from Central America has been going on for years with the explicit concurrence of America's elected officials. The present invasion of thousands of unoccupied minors is the obvious desired result of the current administration. The United States Senate has passed S-744, and every other elected official in the United States that has not stood up and demanded that the immigration laws of the United States be fully enforced, and in particular a president that announced that it does not make good sense to enforce immigration laws. This is not a humanitarian crisis. This is a manufactured crisis. As any media outlet that calls this a humanitarian crisis is concealing what is actually happening. This is a result of American leaders taking America into a lawless state over time, and this latest invasion by opportunistic lawbreakers is a direct result of their actions, period. Okay? This is up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. You might want to go read that yourself. I also want to read this to you as well. This is from discoverynetworks.org, or discoverthenetworks.org. One of the men that Obama derives his ideology from. Oh, by the way, let me tell you who this is from. This is from Brian Lang over at livetruthradio.com. So let me not sugarcoat it for you and tell you exactly how he put it. Brian Lang says, for this picture here from discoverthenetworks.org, says one of the men that bastard derives his ideology from, Saul Alinsky. Go look that name up, folks. Born to Russian Jewish parents in Chicago in 1909, Saul Alinsky was a communist Marxist fellow traveler who helped establish the tactics of infiltration, coupled with a measure of confrontation, and that have been central to revolutionary political movements in the United States in recent decades. He never joined the Communist Party, but instead, as David Horowitz puts it, became an avatar of the postmodern left. Though Alinsky is rightfully understood to have been a leftist, his legacy is more methodological, whatever word, Saul Alinsky, in my opinion, from what I've read so far of him, this is me speaking, not the article, not what the blurb says over the picture on Free America Radio on Facebook, but from what I understand, Saul Alinsky was basically a far left person in terms of his political ideology. Okay? And that's where he was, and that's where he stayed for many, many years. He identified a set of very specific rules that ordinary citizens could follow and tactics that ordinary citizens could employ as a means of gaining public power. His motto was, the most effective means are whatever will achieve the desired results. That is pure leftist philosophy or ideology. Brian Lang also put this up on his page. on Live Truth 911 on Facebook, or you can go to livetruthradio.com. Others that form, oh bastards, gray matter. This is Brian Lang speaking, saying that, quote, Richard Cloward and Francis Fox Piven, better known as Cloward and Piven of the Cloward and Piven strategy. First proposed in 1966 and named after Columbia University socialist Richard Andrew Cloward and his wife Frances Fox Piven, both longtime members of the Democratic Socialists of America, where Piven today is an honorary chair. The Cloward-Piven strategy, if I can speak, seeks to hasten the fall of capitalism by overloading the government bureaucracy with a flood of impossible demands, thus pushing society into crisis and economic collapse, which is happening right now, folks. Inspired by the August 1965 riots in the Black District of Watts in Los Angeles, which erupted after police had used batons to subdue a black man suspected of drunk driving, Cloward and Piven published an article titled, quote, The Weight of the Poor, A Strategy to End Poverty, unquote, in May 2nd, 1966 issue of The Nation. Following its publication, the Nation sold an unprecedented 30,000 reprints. Activists were abuzz over the so-called crisis strategy, or Cloward and Piven strategy, as it came to be called. Many were eager to put it into effect. Folks, let me gear this next statement to those who wish to continue down that line of democratic socialism. And let me tell you the difference between a democratic socialist and a national socialist. Think Obama and Hitler. Hitler was a national socialist. He promoted that as being the will of the people. And when he put it out there and said, there are people in your midst that want this, others just, got on the bandwagon. But with the Cloward and Piven democratic socialist ideology, it basically is everybody's on the same playing field. And Obama, in his 2008 presidential campaign, told Joe the plumber that he wanted to redistribute the wealth. Remember that? Everybody on the same playing field. Now, what's the difference physically between a national socialist and a democratic socialist? Not a whole hell of a lot, I can tell you. Certain things are different, certain areas function a little bit differently, but overall, it's all the same. Now, what we have here in the country of our great nation that our founding fathers have put together, we have a very poor excuse. A very poor excuse, led by a community organizer that couldn't organize a freaking, a game of soccer if he wanted to. I don't think that this man in the White House that is taking up the suit at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., really has brains enough to really take care of this country the way our founding fathers took care of this country. Now, granted, our founding fathers were not perfect, but we didn't ask them to be perfect. We asked them to lead this country. Aside from Ulysses S. Grant and Jimmy Carter, President Barack Hussein Obama is the worst president this country has ever seen. And those on his side of the aisle who are Democratic Socialists, yes, I'm talking Democrats, all of them, every last one of them. I don't give a rat's butt who you are. If you're awake and aware to what's going on and you do nothing about it in your Democratic Socialist way, if you don't wake up to the fact that this man is screwing you too, you're never going to get it. But most Democrats, when you look at the founding of the Democratic Party and you look at the ideologies and the principles by which they stand by and how they try to buffalo you into thinking otherwise, you are looking into the face of a Democratic Socialist, which is only one step away from being completely communistic. Okay? Now, I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be. And I'm okay with that. But the facts are the facts. They're there. They stare you right in the face. Problem number one, you don't want to accept the facts. Talking directly to those Democratic Socialists and those Democrats that think that Obama's, the greatest thing ever since sliced bread. Now, you might be thinking, well, what about the Republicans? 70% of the Republican Party, and that's a guess, by the way, could be lower, could be higher, I'm not sure. I'm just guessing from what I've seen so far, that 70% of the Republican Party is progressive. You want progressive? President Woodrow Wilson. There you go. Progressive. You've got progressives in every side, whether it be Republican or Democrat, whether it be conservative or liberal, whether it be independent or anything else of that nature, you have progressives who have the intelligence to trick you into believing they're on your side and not so smart when it comes to implementing their tactics. That is why they are a controlled party. And when I say party, I use that word in air quotes because there are progressives on both sides of the aisle. Okay? Doesn't matter who you are, what you do, what color you are, what color suit you wear. It doesn't matter. Democrats have always been known to be fascist, Marxist, communist, you name it. They've been that way for many, many years. There is no democratic process in the United States. There is no functioning of Congress in such a way to where it is of, by, and for the people. Because generally speaking, I'm going to be specific. Specifically speaking, what Congress does is in direct conflict to what the people want. It is contradictory to what the people want, in fact. And so the script that the state-run media gets from those in control of Washington, D.C. is being followed exactly, what the state-run media tells you Congress does, and the other way around as well. And these people are just following a script, folks. It's all by design. It's all there by design. Doesn't matter. It's all there by design. So when you pay a congressman $100 and something thousand a year, You yourself are not paying him. No. You're paying the banks, you're paying your taxes, you're paying fees, you're paying court costs, that pays the congressman. The little pittance that they get from those that control Washington, D.C. Because if you add up all of the money that these congressmen make, and you add up their worth, you're going to find a tremendous difference between what they're worth and what they make. They're worth a hell of a lot more than what they make. Look at, what's her name, Dianne Feinstein, who manipulated Congress to get her husband a government contract. Allegedly. Okay, I have to throw that in there because, I don't know. I don't have any verification of that. So allegedly that happened. But all in all, we have to understand that Congress is not on our side. We, the people, have to come together and say enough's enough. But, as I said before, there's not too many people that want to do that. Why? I don't think it has anything to do with laziness. I just think it has a lot to do with the fact that they don't really care. But that's my 2 cents worth on that. Because if they did care, they would get up and do something about what's happening. I don't see masses of hundreds of thousands of people out in the streets of America yet. But I believe that when that time comes and we begin to see hundreds of thousands of people in the street, it's going to be too late. But that's me. It's just my perspective. What's your perspective? Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. And when I get back from this break coming up here in about a minute, I'm going to ask you, if you would please, go to Free America Radio on Facebook, and I'm going to share with you some other stories as well, and give you my take on these stories, and a little more if I can. So I will be back after this break, so stick around, there's more to come. This is Reverend Wayne S. Pierce right here for a podcast for the 23rd of July 2014. Be right back after this. What else do you have to do on a Friday night? Why not come check out Diana and Wayne's Grab Bag Potpourri Talk Show at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern, right here on Spreaker.com.
No elitist drivel, no media spin. Logic over emotion, fact over fiction. The home of independent conservative thought. The Conservative Voice with your host, Jeff Wagner, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
What does freedom mean? Tune in to LRN.FM to find out. LRN.FM is the Liberty Radio Network, a collection of live talk radio and podcasts, all coming from a principled pro-liberty perspective. LRN.FM show hosts aren't left, right, or conspiracy kooks. You can tune in 24/7 to LRN.FM via your phone, computer, satellite, and more. Listen free anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Thank you, folks. Welcome back. This is, I don't want to name this show, but it's just a podcast, and we'll put together probably going to spend another half hour giving you the news, the views, and my opinion on what's going on, and hopefully you won't get pissed off too much. Anyway, so many things are going on with the president, with everything going on. It's one of those things where how do you distinguish between what is literally... How do you distinguish between what is literally the truth and the facts coming out of the White House and out of the spokesman, the spokespeople up there, and what reality truly is? I mean, how do you distinguish between the two? You know what I'm saying? You know how you can tell... every time that the president opens his mouth, damn well he's lying. I don't think there's, I really don't think he really believes the crap that he's spewing out of his mouth. But then again, I think he might. Press release from Tea Party Command Center blogger spot. It's over at teapartyorg.ning, Nancy Igloo Nancy Golf.com. teapartyorg.ning.com. Citing gun laws, Beretta USA to move its entire Maryland manufacturing capabilities to Tennessee. Beretta USA Corporation, located in Occoquan, Maryland, I think that's how you pronounce it, announced today that it has decided to move its manufacturing capabilities from its existing location to a new production facility that it is building in Gallatin, Tennessee. Gallatin facility is scheduled to be open in mid-2015. Beretta USA had previously planned to use the new facility for new machinery and production of new products only. Quote, during the legislative, if I could speak, I have to move Mr. Tongue and Mr. Lips to speak. During the legislative session in Maryland that resulted in the passage of the Firearm Safety Act of 2013, the version of the statute that passed the Maryland Senate would have prohibited Beretta USA from being able to manufacture, store, or even import into the state products that we sell to customers throughout the United States and around the world. While we were able in Maryland House of Delegates to reverse some of those obstructive provisions, the possibility that such restrictions might be reinstated in the future leaves us very worried about the wisdom of maintaining a firearm manufacturing factory in the state, unquote, stated Jeff Cooper, general manager of Beretta USA Corp. And it goes on, and let me share this. I put this up on my Facebook page. Let me go find it. And I made it very, very clear. Okay? I made it very, very clear. Posted a lot up there, so let me find it. I feel myself personally that if you follow the law, I'm saying that in general, if you follow the law, you'll be fine. Okay? If you step out of line and break it, well, you won't be so fine, will you? Here's what I said on my Facebook page. Bill of Rights, Second Amendment, open carry, nationwide. Any questions? I literally have to point my fingers to the governors, to the legislators, to all of those people in the state, in whatever state you're in, that if you propose any type of gun control law, you are in direct violation of the Second Amendment. Much like your cities have free speech zones or free speech areas or gun-free zones, you are in direct violation of our constitutionally protected God-given rights. Got it? I challenge anybody listening to this to go to their legislators, whether it be in the city council or the county board of supervisors or even at the state level, and tell them that. I challenge you to do that. Oh yeah, I'd like to have video footage too if you're able to do that. Free America Radio at USA.com. Free America Radio at USA.com. Other things that we have to pay very close attention to, and that is, how do we see our enemy? We as the United States of America, not only that, but we as the military-industrial complex, the commerce that we have here, the whole ball of wax. How do we see our enemies? Do we see them as not so bad and we can work things out, or terribly bad and we'd rather annihilate them? How do we see them? Because, as I and many others have said, there is not one moment that goes by that we're not working with somebody on one side or both sides of the aisle. Not in Congress. I'm speaking of world leaders. Okay? March 26th, 2014. From judicialwatch.org. U.S. gives Russia free military equipment used by Army and Marines. Behind closed doors, the United States government is giving Russia free military equipment, also used to train American troops, even after President Obama announced punitive sanctions against Moscow and, more importantly, a suspension of military engagement over the invasion and occupation of Ukraine. The secret operation was exposed this week by members of Congress that discovered it in the process of reviewing the fiscal year 2014 budget and the proposed fiscal year 2015 budget request. It turns out that the National Nuclear Security Administration has been providing the Russian Federation with the Multiple Integrated Laser Engagement System, MILES, the federal legislators say. The U.S. military uses MILES for tactic force-on-force training because it has a system of lasers and dummy ammunition to simulate ground combat. It's a crucial military-grade technology that is similar to laser tag, available in some commercial markets, according to one of the outraged lawmakers, Oklahoma Representative Jim Bridenstine, that helped uncover the scandal. Bridenstine, I think, or Steen, I don't know. A member of the House Armed Services Committee has joined forces with Ohio Republican Mike Turner, chairman of the House Subcommittee on Tactical Air and Land Forces, to demand an end to the program. Along with about a dozen other House colleagues, they penned a letter to Energy Secretary Ernst Moniz, who oversees the agency carrying out the, quote, irresponsible military equipment transfers, unquote, to Russia. The Obama administration's planned supply to the Russian Federation is a grave mistake given the recent invasion of Ukraine launched by Russian Federation President Vladimir Putin. Legislators point out, quote, "It is difficult to imagine a worse time to provide military-grade technology employed by the U.S. Marine Corps, Army, and Special Operations Forces to Russia than when it has illegally invaded Ukraine and is violating the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces Treaty," unquote. The letter to Moniz said, quote, "To make matters worse, it is our understanding from the budget documents that the department has been and continues to propose providing this technology to Russia free of charge," unquote. This is preposterous and borders on criminal if you really think about it, as if we need reminding. Congressman Turner recants Putin's, quote, "brazen disregard for the sovereignty and stability of Eastern Europe," unquote, as well as his disregard for international law. Quote, "Despite this overwhelming evidence that Putin is not our ally, it is astonishing that the Obama administration would still provide superior U.S. military technology to an aggressive and advancing Russia," unquote, Turner said. Quote, "The United States must seriously redirect its approach and immediately terminate all military aid to Russia," unquote. President Obama has already proven to be the international joke for his response to the worsening crisis in the Ukraine. Even the mainstream media in this country has blasted the commander-in-chief's foreign policy as based on fantasy. One famously liberal magazine published a satirical article saying that the Obama administration froze Putin's Netflix account as a, quote, "major ramping up of sanctions," unquote. In a piece published a few days ago, a former veteran congressman wrote this, quote, "The embarrassment of the U.S. impotence, is that what it is? In dealing with Russian aggression in the Ukraine is only the beginning of what will likely be a series of foreign policy disasters," unquote. That is on Free America Radio on Facebook. Let me tell you something right now, folks. Let me put two and two together for you. This new, I don't want to quote it, but this new Malaysian airline that went down, this new story about that, kind of reflects what is happening with the free military technology being given to Russia and handed over to, well, those in the Ukraine. This story has it that somebody in the Ukraine, this plane flew over and the area of the Ukraine, and this plane, literally on record, it does show, and there is evidence for it being shot out of the air, and saying 292 people perished. It is also on record through 21stCenturyWire.com, who has found out that there were the investigation that went into this said and shows that the bodies on the plane were already dead. Correlate that with the fact that a couple of months ago, a missing Malaysian airline, on record, it is on record and is evidential to this, landed in Diego Garcia. Can we put two and two together, folks? Can we add this insanity up? Or do you have to have a map to draw it out for you? I'm only speculating in this so far because in my hands I do not have tangible proof showing that this is the case. But chances are logic wins. Okay? Let's just put that out there for now, all right? Now, let me go to another article there on Free America Radio on Facebook. There's a picture there from Distorted Reality with Nick Tucker. Pristine passports from a plane that exploded in a fireball? So many discrepancies and cover-ups over flight MH17. Remember when the hijacker's passport was found on 9/11 and people believed it? Incredible. That's one thing. Here's the other one. There's a video from that Brian Lang put up on his Facebook page from Judge Jeanine Pirro. Treason exposed. Obama used Benghazi attack to cover up arms shipment to Muslim Brotherhood. Didn't we know that already? Did we not know this already? Let me give you this little tidbit of information as well. It's on Libertarian Girl's Facebook page, and it says Libertarian versus Libertarian. Libertarian with a large capital L and Libertarian with a small lowercase l. Libertarians and libertarians are both libertarian, but there are differences. Libertarians or big L libertarians, are members of the Libertarian Party, and their philosophy is libertarian. Examples: Gary Johnson, Jim Gray. Libertarians, or small L libertarians, aren't members of the Libertarian Party, but they're philosophically libertarian. Some are members of different political parties, while others don't believe in the political process at all. Examples: Ron Paul, Jeffrey Tucker. So, you get it? Okay? Do you understand this now? Okay? Do you have a clue as to those two? Okay. I don't label myself with a political party. I don't affiliate with one either. I am non-partisan. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in all the rights God given to us and protected by the Constitution and Bill of Rights of the United States of America prior to 1871. I also believe that we need a sovereign nation where people can worship and as they want, say what they want as they will, have what they need to survive, including the Second Amendment. I believe that we need to totally, well, I don't want to say totally because that sounds too final. I would say I believe in changing the political process and getting rid of 75% or more of Congress and all of the departments and organizations in Washington, D.C. Want to streamline Washington, D.C.? That's one way to do it right there. I do not believe in federal income tax. I think it's theft. I do believe that the states have to support themselves somehow, but I also believe that the alternative is a flat tax across the board, not statewide, not citywide, but federal. If you are to want to pay taxes, I believe you should have a choice on how much you should pay as well. But the smartest thing that I've seen so far that works is a flat tax across the board of 15%. And don't get caught up in the minutia of somebody saying, oh, flat tax or a fair tax. Taxes aren't fair, they're theft. But if you want to continue down that line of having to pay taxes, I do believe that everybody from personal income to corporate income should pay nothing more than 15% across the board, period. I'm nonpartisan because I choose to be, not because of any other reason. Now, a lot of people might say there's not too many candidates, are there? Oh, there's plenty. I'm nonpartisan, and I'll vote for whoever I believe is going to do the best job, whether that is, independent candidates or, the Republican or Democrat. And I don't want people to misunderstand me. I said I will vote for the person who feels right and does right and has a track record of doing what is positive and fair for the rest of the people. I don't give a rip about the initial next to his name or her name. Doesn't matter. A lot of people would say, well, yeah, it does because, yada, yada. And they'll give me their excuses as to why they think it does. I'm nonpartisan. It doesn't matter to me. But if the parties don't do, what's right, why would you want to vote for them? Exactly. That's why I have a freedom of choice to vote across party line if I want to. Just makes it so much simpler. And again, and yes, it's true, there's not a whole lot of candidates in the nonpartisan arena, and so libertarian would be the next one. And I would rather see a libertarian outside of the big L who doesn't associate with the Libertarian Party, but has libertarian philosophies and is running on their own. Because, once you get into a party, you get co-opted and all this, and it's just it's a major pain, really. But a lot of people might think, well, you have some very utopian ideas, and none of them will, transpire. Well, I agree with that. They won't if you continue to say they won't. You have to make it happen. And we, the people, can do that. We can do that. Now, one last area that I want to go into, I go to Drudge Report. Facebook shares of Facebook hit all-time high after earnings beat. Obamacare sting operation reveals fake insurance applications being approved. 67% of the voters say America more divided, which I believe that. Cuomo's office hobbled state ethics inquiry. Now, I cannot, and I will say this, I cannot, nor will I, agree with people who cannot recognize and accept the obvious. Now, you heard me right. I cannot and will not accept anyone's view based upon their lack of paying attention to the obvious. Now, when you look at the obvious, you're obviously, ironically enough, looking at something happening in front of you. Duh. But think about this. If something happened in front of you and someone said that didn't happen, but you know it did, and you know it, and it continues on, and you know it's happening, why would you not recognize it or accept it as something obviously happening in front of you? Okay? That's my point. We have to pay attention. It's there. It's happening out in front of us. And there are those who are going, I don't want to pay attention to this. I don't want to see this. It's not. And the bottom line is, they don't want to see it. That's just about, I'm not going to give you some 3-page, thesis about why these people don't want to see it. The bottom line is they don't want to see the obvious, period. Unless it fits into their little cookie cutter world where every day they are inundated with preconceived ideas and they are deluded by those ideas as well. Now, here's this whole... I'm going to get back to the border issue. And I'm going to say this, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. Close the damn border. Close it. Don't need it open. Close the damn thing. Okay?
A member of the Texas syndicate prison gang.
Breitbart.com. Gang member wanted for murder killed in border shootout with Texas police. La Joya, Texas. Citizens ran for cover as authorities and a presumed member of the Texas syndicate prison gang got into a brutal firefight less than a mile from the border with Mexico. Bursts of what sounded like automatic fire were heard on and off as police officers and sheriff's deputies tried to arrest 29-year-old Joaquin Ciberan, a member of the fearsome prison gang who barricaded himself in a house in a densely populated area of the South Texas community. Authorities wanted Cibrian on suspicion of capital murder. 3 police helicopters circled overhead as more than 100 police officers from various agencies, sheriff's deputies, and state troopers remained at the scene while tactical teams worked to apprehend the lone gunman. Now, other officers and deputies arrived in armored vehicles to rescue their teammates who had gotten pinned down near their patrol car by the constant gunfire. Quote, the suspect kept firing and we were able to relieve those officers from the positions they were pinned down, unquote, the Hidalgo County Sheriff Eddie, the county sheriff said, as he described the hours-long ordeal. I'm going to put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. And it's just a story that you need to read the rest of. I just highlighted some things as well. The bottom line is, folks, this is what we have to deal with. Illegal aliens coming over here, crossing the border, not only criminals like that, but also people with diseases and stuff like this. And there's already been an outbreak of coxsackie, which is literally, what is that, foot and mouth, hoof, whatever it is. Go look it up. Coxsackie. I know it sounds really strange. Coxsackie is hoof and mouth disease or something like that. I'm not sure. But, it's all, there's other diseases as well that are coming over, and they need to close the border, period. It just needs to be closed right now. Governor Rick Perry of Texas, he doesn't need to spend $1.3 million a week on National Guard. What he has to do is call up the Citizens Militia. Just put the call out for Citizens Militia from all over the United States, and I guarantee you within about a week there's going to be hundreds of thousands of people there, and it's free, okay, for the Texas governor. He's not going to have to pay anybody to do anything. Citizens are going to do it because they want to do it because this is their home, and they want that damn border closed, period. Close the damn border. Don't need it open. That's just the way it is. Period. Now, let me say this. If there's people here that have been here for 20, 25, 30 years, you know you're illegal, you haven't gotten everything straightened out, well, all I can say is you better have your family's email address in Mexico because that's obviously where they're going to go. I'm not racist. I'm realistic. We have laws in this country that we have to follow. Period. End of sentence. Done. And if you can't follow the laws, there's the damn border. Go home. Okay? It's about law, not about race. So shut your big damn pie hole. You're racist. No, I'm not. I got friends of every race, creed, and religion you can think of. So I don't want to hear it. In the meantime, folks, I almost ran out of time there. So this is the Free America Radio Network. This is a podcast. The views expressed live in the Wayne S. Pierce Show are off until August 4th. So I'm taking a well-deserved vacation, obviously. The shows are. I'm not. I got to do stuff. So anyway, email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. Go to freeamericaradio.us for more information. The Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. I will talk to you later.